to No Enemies Here, where I have a new Mac Mini and 2 monitors, and I'm configuring everything out. And it's thanks to my supporters that I could keep doing the show, because if it wasn't for them, there's no way I could have afforded a Mac. And I mean, I'm paying this monthly, obviously, that's the way it goes. And things are just great and dandy. It's actually a nice day here today, and I have some news. I have news on Princess Games. What? I forget, but it's Vukashin, and it's Princess Games, and they're putting out a new game called Freezing Inferno, and these are the people that put out the March on the Drina, where my face is on some of the cards and all that. And thank you to Vukashin. Check it out. I'm gonna let you know some info. I don't have much info other than that. Let me see here. I gotta go to my old computer because I didn't configure my email and tell you. Okay, the Kickstarter launch is the 18th of October. No, that's wrong. That's another game. I'm telling you. I don't know what's going on here. And I'm all over the place. Artie's the guy who told me to get two monitors. And let's see here. The Kickstarter. When are they going to be Kickstartering it? I don't know. But check out Freezing Inferno. I think it's the Battle of Stalingrad, because I see a Russian flag there. Hey, things have been a bit crazy. Also, for the people that didn't know, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't know because who cares, is in Canada, I am distributing, I'm doing lock and load a solid here. I'm distributing Point Blank. So if any of you Canadians are waiting, that's on me. I live in a small town. We can only get so many of these boxes to ship out, right? So the last of the boxes are coming in next week, and I've got 9 games left to ship, and I'm shipping them out. So, you know what I'm saying? Life happens, right? Plus I work from 10 till 7 at night, and you know what I'm saying? Don't worry, it's coming your way. And by the way, it's worth the wait. It's a wicked box. Weighs a ton. More than my ex-mother-in-law. But anyways. We have Wojennik is in. We have KilRoy. I didn't even solicit him for a video, and he sent it to me. And I'm surprised, you know. And still waiting for Dave. Maybe Dave's not doing it anymore, but hey, let me put it out there to other people. If any of you reviewers and stuff like that want to have your face on or your video on No Enemies Here, all you gotta do is send me a video before Friday, or at the latest Friday morning. Sometimes it's gonna have to be before Friday because I work on Friday. Send me a video, make it nice, so people will say, hey, that's nice. And I'm gonna put it on the show, and you can talk about what's been going on your channel. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me the same stuff that's on your channel. Talk about your channel and say, this week, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And it makes for fun stuff, different sections, and it's not always my face on No Enemies Here, you know. So it's fun. And with that said, be nice and have a good show.
And I'm Grant.
And here we go with what's important in life, the news. And we have the man who looks like a vampire, Mark Felton production with 3 videos. Special mission, V2 America's race to capture the V2 buzz bomb and all the scientists from under the British and the Soviets' noses. Huh? And also, I found the World War II bomb site, the Norwich Blitz Crossroads, and Hitler's top general in Allied captivity, Field Marshal General... what's his face? I just forgot his face. It's not Keitel. It's that guy on Mark Felton Productions. Also, on Indy Nidell's fantastic channel, 4 videos this week, I should actually say. 4 videos this week. Could the Soviets cut off Crimea? Also, Chinese warlords and the Royal Canadian Navy. I don't know what the connection is there. And the Nazi justification for the genocide. Also, Nazis suck at sabotage. World War II spies and ties. And if you want to relax and watch a movie on creature features, which you should, you can watch Damnation Alley with, I forget their names, but they're there. And on KilRoyWasHere, Robert Carroll, 4 videos this week. Coffee with Kilroy from a Panzerschreck issue number 18. Also on Panzerschreck 18, another video called Component Set. It's a Minden game, and Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturdays with Windward, a play monster. Also, Coffee with Kilroy, play the Arab Conquest Wars 633 AD. On that fantastic channel that is Legendary Tactics, 4 videos out. Heroes of Normandy, Big Red One edition. It's a reboxing. I don't get it. What's a reboxing? I'm gonna have to check it out. Panzer Blitz strategy for situation number 1. Also, Circadians, Chaos Order, review and first look, and a reshuffles segment called Twilight Struggle strategy. I guess how to play the cards, huh? On Wars of the World, 2 videos out. The Princess in Uniform, Queen Elizabeth in World War II. And also World War II before and after the war in photographs. On the unmistakable channel that is STUKAJOE. STUKAJOE does a video of Manstein's Triumph, a game designed by Francisco Ronco and published by NAC War Games. So this video is based on an example of play found in the playbook of this game, von Manstein's Triumph, on STUKAJOE. Those wonderful guys of the Player's Aids have 4 videos this week. They review The King is Dead from Osprey Games, also an unboxing of Fire on the Mountain from Legion War Games, and The Reformation, Patrick Collinson's from Cover to Cover, and an unboxing, A Victory Awaits from MMP. All this week on the Player's Aid. Catch the news on here. No enemies here. Dad versus son. You gotta check this out. I'm checking it out from time to time because I'm hyper, you know what I mean? And he's playing Combat Volume 2. Dad's Dodgy Dozen. And I'm one of them. I'm one of the pips in the game. So I told him, you keep me alive, buddy. So I'm Colonel. or lieutenant colonel on Dad vs. Games. And the game is Combat from Compass Games. And Artie of ARDWULF'S LAIR has 3 videos this week. Cities of Harn, Eliath, heir of Eliath, on Cities of Harn, I should say, and counterclipping the best of the Battle of the Bulge. Also, an unboxing. Point Blank V is for Victory. The next up front, check it out with Artie on ARDWULF'S LAIR. Tony of Tony's Board Life has 3 videos this week. Dad and daughter unboxing and chat. Also, American Tank Ace, I got it, man. Thank you. Campaign number 1, part 3, and GTS The Greatest Day Storming Gold, part 1, a game by Multi-Man Publishing. I should say published by Multi-Man Publishing. My favorite Frenchie, Fred Serval, has 2 videos out, and I was watching the Pacific War Rules, Teach and Play with none other than the author and designer Mark Herman. Also, Wars of Religion. Explique partie avec le, he's saying something in French. Explique partie. So, explanation of a party. All this on Homo Ludens. And talking about putting a massive amount of videos out like Dad vs. Son, Kurt of ID Jester has 12 videos out this week. He's got 1 war room, okay? What credentials do you ... Dune Imperium with Rise of Ix. I heard it was Ix, I thought it was 9. Solo played as Countess. Also, open a new box of games. And X-Men Mutant Insurrection first playthrough, plus Terraforming Mars, Ares. Expedition Solo, first playthrough, I guess. And Sunday Night Arkham Horror. This guy, man, he's organized. There's 2 videos of Sunday Night Arkham Horror, plus a video on Gandhi, the decolonization of British India, 1917 to 1947. A couple of videos on that, and a couple of videos on Marvel Champions gameplay as Valkyrie solo against, and yet the other videos with Hulk. Then the inside scoop on board gaming with ... That's for you to check out and for me to lay out the trap. It's just wonderful. Cody of the Discriminating Gamer has 2 videos this week. The Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards, plus E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Light Years from Now, I'm assuming. Because it's a ... GIMPY of the Gimpy Gamer has 4 videos out. A Freezing Inferno, this is from Printship Games, what I was talking about. And Slithering Game Twitch event. Plus, he says here, a 1/48 tactic German Luftwaffe. I guess 1/48th scale? But that's tiny. I may be wrong, but it's 1/48 tactic. And Blood Red Skies Sea Battle Part 3. Nepotism. The Fokker Circus. My other channel in my other life, where we discuss pipe tobaccos and everything involving pipe tobaccos. And I'm here with the master blender, really like world-renowned Russell Ouellette, and we're talking about 5 blends that we discuss. No, I like this, I don't like that, on his part, that is. It's a breakdown of what's in this tobacco. And that's 5 Blends, episode 2. Check it out. And Mauro Faina, 4 videos out, all of Il Giannizzero, and this time to talk about Nagashino
Hello everyone, this is Michel Leviathan-Sorbet from the Polish YouTube channel Wojennik TV. As always, here is a very brief roundup of the content published on my channel during the last 7 days. Last Sunday I released a playthrough of a Solitaire game released recently by Worthington Publishing. This was the playthrough of Waterloo Solitaire. Waterloo Solitaire is a book game in which we can recreate the epic Battle of Waterloo, both from the French as well as from the British perspective, or rather from the Allied perspective. We receive not less than 6 different battles which we can fight using only a piece of paper or a pencil and the booklet, which includes both the rules as well as the whole battlefield and the elements which we will be writing on. This is a game in which we have the elements already set on one of the pages of the book, and while executing the actions, we will be erasing destroyed units, or we will be indicating units which arrive on the battlefield, such as the Prussians or maybe the relocation of some of the French or the Allied units. This is a game which, as I said earlier, can be played both from the French as well as from the Allied perspective, and in each case we receive 3 different types of battles with a different difficulty level, from the easy ones through the medium ones through the difficult ones. So we can in fact play several battles from different perspectives, trying to achieve our objectives. From the French perspective, this will obviously be the destruction of the British army, of 2 of the 3 major parts of this army before the game ends and before the Prussians arrive, without also taking significant casualties. From the Allied perspective, we have to survive or to destroy completely one of the French wings. If we do, we can win the game. So this is quite an interesting game, a very quick to play, very quick to learn game. Our game can last 30 minutes or so, and we can recreate the battle, reset it and play once more. I used during this playthrough little dice in order to indicate casualties. I didn't use a pencil in order to write in the booklet in order to preserve it. So if you're looking for an inspiration about how to use this game without writing in it and without making additional copies, this might be an interesting thing that you can see. And this was the only wargaming related video during the last 7 days, because the 2 other ones which I released were not wargaming related, so I won't be telling you anything about them during this roundup. As always, I wish you an excellent weekend, have a great gaming, and see you next time.
Black Cherry. Black Cherry.
On History Hustle, that fantastic channel. Was the Russian soldier always cruel to civilians during wartime? Well, that's 20 minutes of that, and that looks pretty heavy to me. I think I'm gonna have to watch it. And Compass Games Live with episode 82. We have Mo of Mo's Game Table and John Krantz on the screen on Compass Games. Live, that is, episode 82. And you want to talk about a lot of games? Look, these are all these older games. They're like 10-minute videos, and it's Gamer's Closet, where you can play games like James Bond, and these are the old Hasbro games, and Milton Bradley, and Tank Battle, also Conflict. Wow, I never seen that game. And Easy Money, and Spider Wars, and Game of Dracula, and Railroad Game. All those fun old games he used to play at the country place and love it. On Seek Out and Play, a short video that covers the basic monsters and beasts found within the Melee and Wizards system. All this on the fantastic channel that is Seek Out and Play. Little Wars TV Season 4 preview. So they look ahead at the coming state of war games for Little Wars TV. They'll be exploring their favorite eras of military history, plus a few brand new episodes. All this on Little Wars TV. You gotta watch this channel, Poindexter of Poindexter Games, playing America Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies, mission number 3. This is where, and I keep saying it, STUKAJOE, when he did B-17, that's the feel I get here. It's a fantastic, fantastic feel for me. And 6 Actual is unboxing Air Cobra. This is from the Operational Studies Group. This is an old game, but looks like a lot of fun. On the father and daughter team, favorite Halloween games on Back to the Table. Everything ASL on Illuminating Rounds, episode 76, Yankee Pride from Schwerpunkt. This is a great scenario that they take a look at with the help from Rob and his tanks, and Joe's games against fellow Brits, Tony. Hey, everything ASL. On Simple History, we have 3 videos. Scary History Series 2. Also, the military went too far with these disturbing ... That doesn't look good. And the Black Death Plague of 1347. These are shorts. And short videos, not shorts. And the Minister, that is Joel Toppin. 3 videos, a virtual hike on Pagan and Saya Pass, or Pigeon, or Saya Pass. I don't know, I'm massacring the name. Also a virtual hike, Triple Divide, and playing No Peace Without Border. JK Wargames has 1 video, Sniper Kill Confirmed, a playthrough, a game by Compass Games. On the Nerd Workshop, we have 2 videos out. Victory in the Pacific from Avalon Hill. This is a playthrough, turn number 5. It's an oldie but a goodie. And another Avalon Hill game, one of my firsts, and it's called Panzer Leader. So a look inside the box at Panzer Leader. You know what? I have it. I kind of want to watch this stuff like that. On Patrick's Tactics and Tutorials, we have 2 videos out. The first video being Command and Colors Ancients, Plataea, 606 Plataea, and Stonewall Jackson's Way 2, scenario number 5, from the Great Battles of the American Civil War, if I'm not mistaken. But sometimes I am. This is where you come and get your news. Also, on Juste Garde, a new arrival, John Company, 2nd edition. This is a game by Verligto. I thought it was Italian, but it's designed by Cole Worley. I think Cole Worley's worked a lot with Worthington Publishing, if I'm not mistaken. On Tank Chats, Samoa S35. John David Wiley and his week's Tank Chats and his weekly Tank Chats as he details the history of Samoa S-35, a French cavalry tank of the Second World War. Eesh. I mean, I'd be scared, but it ain't gonna hold up, you know, what can I tell you? Combat Board Games has one video out, and it's going down the rabbit hole to review Fleming, a World War II real-time journaling game. On Hex to Hex, 3 videos. The Battle of Fismes, Part 1, or Fismes. Fismes. It's French, Napoleon, Fismes. And also Slytherin. That game company, I think Eric Lee Smith worked at that game company. But anyways, Slytherin, home of wargaming upcoming Steam and Death Valley. Port Republic, Part 1. On Hex to Hex. And tabletop sci-fi, top 5 space exploration games that he's reviewed so far, and it's the top 5 best exploration games, and it's the top 5 4X, expand, exploit, explore, and exterminate. Tell me it's not a war game. And my paisan from down south in Ontario, he's got 10 videos out, and I'd say 4 of them on Der Weltkrieg, and he's checking out some woods. I like this stuff, I like the woods, and a Happy Thanksgiving video from Christopher Prest. Canadian, don't forget Thanksgiving. You're probably saying, what do you mean Thanksgiving? Canadian Thanksgiving. On Hexed and Countered, American Tank Ace 1944 to 1945, Campaign Part 4. I was sent that game because I don't remember speaking with Gregory M. Smith. I mean, I remember speaking with Gregory M. Smith, but I don't remember like telling him that a bar fight can go either way. My name is in the credits. That's too cool. But they spelled it Pacaldi. They're missing an M. Pancaldi. But it's okay. I got the game. I can't wait to start it. I'm already reading the rules and stuff like that. On Smart War Games, we have 10 videos out. Chernatsky, the Ukrainian War. This is a 2.5-hour video. Also, Brazil in Flames. And the Hex War Game SA 1803 First Bull Run. And Mars Latour Computer Edition. Also, Italia 1944 New Retro Military RPG. Now that sounds pretty cool. I have to check it out. And Combat Mission Black Sea. Also, Birthright, the Gorgons Alliance. Sounds like a Hammer War thing. And Pacific Theater of Operations, and 1989 to 1983 by Super Nintendo. And Semper Fi by Interactive Magic, and Nowhere to Hide, Ukraine War 2022. That kind of looks real to me. Yeah. And there's like 2 hours of it. Okay. Storm of Steel Wargaming, 4 videos. Building Normandy Volume 1. Also Bench Report Hobby Update. And The Other Partisan Show Report 2022. And Zero Group Death on the Volga Battle Report on Storm of Steel Wargaming. On the Fantasy Skirmisher, a quick channel update on Orcs, Goblins, and Cyclops. Oh my. That's what he says. Oh my. War Stories, 3 videos. The Great War Origins of Adolf Hitler. And the German spy who sabotaged Hitler. Also, Red River Rebellion. The Métis Nations fight for freedom. Or for their lives. God, man. On the Dusted Game Shelf, 4 videos. Dungeons and Dragons, Necromancy for Good. Also, Unboxing, Wizard Position, or Wizard Potion Paints. If it's better than I thought. I was going to say Wizard Porn, but I didn't say it. Dungeons and Dragons plus TNT Monsters. TNT Monsters. An unboxing of Armada Orc Starter Fleet. And on U-Boater 658, we have OSG's Napoleon Invade Spain, La Coruna Introduction, and Traveler Campaign Episode 11, Into the Cube. So again, Operational Studies Group Napoleon invades Spain, La Coruna, 1 p.m. the French turn, and another video of La Coruna, 1 p.m. British turn.
Hello all! Today, Kilroy goes off the shelf on Storming the Gap. World at War 85 from Lock and Load Publishing. Now, of all the games on all the shelves and all the gin joints in the world, why did I pull Storming the Gap World at War 85 off the shelf today to talk to you? Well, I got a notice from GameFound today. GameFound's like Kickstarter, but its focuses on board games. And I kickstarted, or I should, GameFound, is that the word I should use? Blood and Fury, which is the follow-up expansion to Storming the Gap. Now, Blood and Fury is standalone, but it is basically more of the same, or more goodness for the World at War series. Now, what is the World at War 85 series? Well, it originally started as just World at War, and it was Lock and Load Publishing, but it was mainly under Mark Walker and his design, and they had several in this series over time. You know, Eisenbach Gap was the first one, Blood and Bridges, Untold Story, American Conquer. They even found their way to America. Now, Storming the Gap, World at War 85, is a little bit different version than those series. It's basically the same core system, same core mechanics. They changed up some of the, the graphics and moved some of the counters around as far as, updating the capabilities of the units and kind of arranging information on the counters a little bit. But more importantly, they just added a whole bunch of new stuff, and they added it mainly in the base game, the base box, and in this expansion box. Now, this was part of the Kickstarter. I did not kickstart this. God, what was I, an idiot? I was messing around with this stuff at the time and thought maybe I didn't need this, but then I thought better of it, and I ended up getting it, and I'm happy I did. So you get a lot of stuff that comes with just the core game, but the expansion just adds more. Now, what is this about? This is now about World War 85. Do you get it? It's about hypothetical World War III between the NATO forces and the Soviet Union in Europe predominantly. Now, this series kind of went farther afield and got into Asia and America and the like. But this started out, and the core game is really mainly Europe. And this one is as well, but this adds in some more countries or factions like, Czechoslovakia, a little bit more East Germany, West Germany. This, of course, has Soviet Union, United States, and West Germany, and maybe East Germany in this as well. I've got it all combined together, so it becomes a blur. But this is about hypothetical small unit tactical combat in 1985. What do I mean by small unit tactical? Well, that's basically anything platoon down to individual. This one is platoon level, and so there's not a ton of counters on the board, but enough to really make interesting scenarios, and there's a lot of maneuver. There's a lot of trying to figure out what's a good advantage point, taking advantage of the terrain. So a very good tactical game. Now, what all do you get in this? And why am I even talking about this? Well, I think Blood and Fury is going to be somewhat similar. I think there's going to be a kind of a core set, and there's some expansions that come with it, and of course there's some add-ons as well. I think I bought the add-on scenario to it as part of the GameFound. But there's a lot that comes in here. In fact, there's so much that comes in here that I needed to get ammo crates for my counters. So I keep the counters that came in these two massive boxes in these ammo crates, and actually got some extra ones just in advance of Blood and Fury. But you can fit all the counters for, sorry about that, for these two boxes in two ammo crates. In fact, I got a little bit of extra room in there. Now, how do I store this stuff? Well, in the core box here, I have the rules and charts, and then in the expansion box here, I have the boards and cards. Now, why do you have cards? Well, in the Original series, it was a chit pull. It's basically chit pull activation. You're going to pull it, you put, based on the number of units that are available, you put a chit for that, each of those different formations into a cup. You pull from the cup or whatever vessel you want to use, and then that unit can now activate, meaning it can move, it can fire, it can do whatever a unit can do, depending on what its capability is, if it's not, disrupted or something like that. What they did in Blood and Fury, or World at War 85, I should say, is they went to cards. They also went to cards in the Nations at War series. Nations at War? What do you say? This is basically the same setup or system that's in World at War, but this is focusing on World War II. And there's a West Front, an East Front, and an Africa version of this. And this went to cards as well instead of chits. But it's somewhat of the exact same kind of setup and system, but of course it's based on World War II and what's available at that time period. This is based on what is available for these countries and factions in 1985. So instead of chits, you've got cards. And so when you'll put a number of these cards in the deck based on the units that are available or the formations that are available. And then there might be rules specific to a scenario on how many of these go in the deck. But when you pull a card out like this, then you can activate, the Soviet Union can activate any units that are tied to this formation. They can move, they can fire, whatever that unit is able to do, whether it's in command or whether it's disrupted and the like. And it also has on this card, this is the morale for those type of units that are tied to that formation. But also it has a full strength headquarter range and a reduced strength headquarter range. So you kind of know what your command range is for the headquarters. Again, this is tactical. You're going to be needing to be near your headquarters or command. Some units don't need to be within command to perform their actions, like recon units. But you're going to have some sense of a command structure to move your units to achieve the objectives of the individual scenarios. You also have cards in here that come with this set that talk about, they're for miniatures, right? So you can play this game as a miniature game and use these cards here, and it basically has what scale, whether it's 6mm, 15mm, or 28mm. That's the scale, tells you what the range is that you're going to need to convert to for that scale for all the different cards in the game. So there's cards for each of the different type of units and vehicles and the like in there. Now your maps are somewhat geomorphic, and you're going to be putting those together based on the scenario. And again, this is very similar to Panzerleader, which was or Panzer Blitz actually was one of the first ones that came out with like the individual scenarios and the having to put different maps together that match up by roadsides and stuff like that. But that's the same for this. So it's going to be different scenarios. You're going to use different maps that you'll place together, and you have a hex grid. And then the terrain, of course, is very important in this game because it's tactical. So it's going to block line of sight, and it's going to determine movement and defense value and the like. Another interesting thing about this set that was, I think it's part of the Kickstarter, you had regular maps, for fall and spring and I guess in summer, but then they had winter maps as well. And I think Blood and Fury is doing that as well. I think that was one of the stretch goals. So you get a winter map that you can use as well. So that's kind of cool, I think. So I keep all my cards and maps in this box, and then in this box I get the rules. Now that looks like a lot of rules there. It's a pretty thick set, but you're really trying to cover all the different types of vehicles and types of situations of modern combat. Again, this is modern combat set in 1985. It's not that complicated. The basic core mechanics are not that complicated. I recommend doing a short scenario, starting off with some of the basic rules, and start pushing counters around, and you'll get a grasp of this relatively quickly. But there are quite a few rules there because it's tactical, kind of by necessity. You also get a module and scenarios, and again, I think they're probably going to do the same thing in Blood and Fury, although I don't know if they're going to spiral bound it. They're starting to spiral bound some of their lock and load tactical type stuff. I can't recall if they were going to do that for Blood and Fury, but you're going to get modules, rules, and scenarios. So this basically talks about some of the modules that came with this expansion set, but you mainly have a lot of scenarios, which is going to tell you about your formation cards and the different units, and then where you're going to put them on the board but you're going to have different scenarios. And anybody that's played, a tactical game like Squad Leader or Panzer Leader or all the different types of tactical games or you play Lock and Load Tactical from Lock and Load Publishing, you're going to have different scenario setups that give you a little bit of context, show you how to set out the board or which boards to use, and then where to put the counters on the board and any kind of special rules, and away you go. Now, this expansion set had the Defensive Frankfurt, Storm and Seal Second Wave, and the Drive on Gießen. This is more of a campaign game that had kind of an operational or somewhat strategic or operational map that you move stuff around, and then you'll fight individual battles once there was units in the same area. And it was a way to play this whole game as kind of a campaign game. And then the Defense of Frankfurt, and it was like a mega scenario with which you could put a lot of the maps together and do this massive scenario. And then Storm and Steel, I think, just added more units like Czechoslovakia or more factions and stuff like that. And that's a lot what Blood and Fury is going to do. I think it's going to add more factions to the game mix. I think the British or Commonwealth come into play. And maybe some of the other European countries. I just bought it, right? Why am I supposed to know what's in it? Anyway, so this all had like different modules and scenarios for the Storm and Steel, the Defense of Frankfurt, the rules for the campaign system. And then, of course, with any lock and load game, you're going to have tons of charts and player aids. And this is kind of a good one to show what the counters look like. Now, that might look really complicated. It's really not that bad. You've got your armor piercing, your high explosive. So armor piercing is going to go against armor. Yeah, high explosive is going to go against unarmored or, lightly armored type vehicles, trucks and stuff like that. Then you have your armor. Not everything's going to have armor. Armor's going to have armor. That makes sense. But that's basically kind of a saving roll. You get to roll 3 dice. If you roll a 6, then you eliminate 1 hit. For each 6 you roll. This is your movement, and the movement might be amphibious. Like if it's blue, it might be amphibious. If it's green, then that means it's a transport. It can carry stuff. If it's got an H on it, it's a helicopter. If it's an F, no, wait a second. So the F is the helicopter, and this is helicopter transport. You also have assault. That's when you're entering into the same hex. When 2 units from the same hex, you can do assault. So you roll 2 dice, and you've got the superscript is the to hit. So you got to roll 4, and of course that can be modified by terrain and other things. Then you also have armor piercing, so that's your range. That's how many dice you get to roll, and that's what you got to hit. Pretty simple. And for high explosive, range, how many dice you get to roll, and to hit. And if you roll a hit, the other side is going to roll. If they have armor, they get to roll armor to try to save that. That's basically the game. This kind of to me is reminiscent of the old Z factor, or the Z factor or way you read a counter in Panzer Leader and Panzer Blitz. They had the kind of that notion of what are the different, there was 4 factors or 4 numbers on that counter, and they said you read it in a Z formation. Anyway, at least my Panzer Leader came out with that. I don't know, that stuck with me. That stuck with me for a lot of years. So here's all your different types of counters, and of course, this is where the complexity of the game comes in, is that there's different counters that have different units and different vehicles that have different capabilities. There's infantry support weapons and towed units and all kinds of stuff you can add on. There's all kinds of different weapons. There's airstrikes. There's off-board artillery. We get into some of the off-board artillery and smoke and high explosive and what have you. Quite a bit of stuff that can go into this game. Again, at its core, not that complex. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. But there is complexity as you get into some of the deeper scenarios. So again, a lot of player aids, and I imagine there's going to be the same kind of player aids that come in the Blood and Fury. There's holding boxes, there's places for the card decks and offboard artillery and weather and all kinds of stuff, and turn tracks, your sequence of play. And again, that's it. That's not too bad for a tactical game. Your terrain effects charts. So there you have it. There is quite a bit of stuff that's going to come in the box, and I imagine they're going to do the same thing for Blood and Fury. Here's your line of sight that explains, like any tactical game, you're going to have some kind of explanation of line of sight. And weather changes, again, it gets as complicated as you kind of want to get into it. And then, of course, they have like a battle generator that you can make your own scenarios. You have the different scenario books. There's a lot in this, but you can make your own, and there's like a cost for the different units, and you can kind of work out what is a balanced scenario. based on all the different units that are come in the game. Anyway, that's what I have today. Blood and Fury's on its way out. I don't know if there's still late pledges or extended pledges or whatever you want to get into that. I don't do a lot of GameFound or Kickstarter stuff. But I don't know. I got the email and I said, geez, I want to pull this off the shelf because I think I'm going to play some of this. And before I do that, I thought I'd share a little bit with you. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're having a good one. Take care. Not so fast. Don't run away yet. Also didn't talk about Solo Assistant, but Lock and Load sold for both World at War 85 and Nations at War, which is basically a card-based AI, but also has some decision trees in it as well that you can basically simulate your opponent to play the game. Now that is something I think that is different in Blood and Fury. I need to check on that. They might build in a solo assist into that game or into the GameFound pledge. I think a solo assist might come along with it. So I think this still will work, but I think they have a different solo assist that's in there. I could be wrong. I need to check my email. But anyway, now that's all. You can go away now. Seriously, have a good one. Dan needs a video. Dan needs a video. Oh my God. Hey. Cup of Joe. I don't got time for coffee.
Oh putain!
Again, relax, take it easy, watch the Sci-Fi Channel. You can watch stuff like Zillafoot or Invasion of the Saucermen. I saw that, that was great. And the Hollow one. Also, Space Girls. On Dave's Gaming Cave, 3 videos out, all of them the same, concerning Gregory M. Smith's game American Tank Ace, Cyclops, Campaign Parts 2, 3, and 4. On the Board Game Chronicles, 2 videos, a Spiel 22 in Essen. That's pretty heavy. Also, unboxing Fire and Stone, Siege of Vienna, 1683. On Kings and Generals, 5 videos out, the Siege of Nicaea in 1 minute. Also, Pompeian, Parthian invasion of Rome, post-Caesar Civil War, and Kokoda Track, counteroffensive. This is a Pacific War video. He's got segments like that. And a video called Ottoman Byzantine Wars, Battle of Dimbos, 1303, and Russian invasion of the Ukraine, a 6-month summary. Yeesh, 6 months, really? World War II Solitaire board game channel. Check out his link in my description below. In all the links, he's the first one. That is to get his YouTube channel. Click on that link and straight to his YouTube channel. We have 5 videos on World War II Solitaire board game channel. 3 of them on Patton's Best, and a playthrough of B-17 Queen of the Skies, Episode 1, and Arsenalen, a Swedish tank museum. Wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. All this on World War II Solitaire board game channel. On My Own Worst Enemy gameplay, CSA American Civil War intro and setup. This looks like a print and play game. but I might be mistaken. I'm not often mistaken, but I am sometimes. Respect. Jim Wazorski, 3 videos. The Battle of GIMPY for Altar of Freedom. Also, Attack This Part 2 for Spearhead and Probe. Abandonnement for Chain of Command on Jim Wazorski. Big Board Gaming, Vietnam /2, Retreat and Pursuit on the big board. Wise Guy History, Bios Megafauna, the opening turns of a two-player game. He's got actually 3 videos on that and 1 video on Twilight Inscription playthrough, about an hour and 8 minutes. The Sabotage, introduction and overview, all this on the man who calls himself Jeff. You know, The Sabotage, this is by Trito Noir, a game company based in Montreal. And I think a year and a half ago, if not more, probably more, I kickstarted something. I'm gonna give him a call. His name is Thibaut de la Touane. Stephen Dolge's 3 videos and the Vampire Review, a game by Compass Games. Nations in Arms, Compass Games game. And War of the First Coalition in Nations in Arms. On Jan Heinemann of a Let's Play History, he's got 5 videos. And this is for our German people. Schlacht der Imperium and Das Kari, 1806, and Alles auf ein Pferd Gesetz, and Wo blieben die Ritter, and Battle of Roanoke Island. Commentary with the player, excuse me. I read the English one pretty good. Wardy Road plays World War II. It Never Snows, turns 9 and 10, after action report. For our Italian listeners, the professor that is Riccardo Mazzini on his war log. Aggiornamento del canale. And also on Scipio News, Snafu, that's English. And come ti faccio un vlog, che cosa ci metto nelle blah blah blah. He says, how does he do a vlog and what does he put in it? Blah blah blah. Blah 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 is universal. Dave of Centurion's Review has 3 videos out. Centurion Review's channel update with his little baby. And all the micro games he's played. Man, he's got a ton. And his game book collection. On Hexes and Soldiers, 4 videos. Please consider this. A kiss is just a kiss. Also, Command and Colors, Laon. I made that up. A kiss is just a kiss. It seemed like, you know, da-da-dee-da-da-da. It has the same, please consider this. It's got the same rhythmic pattern as a kiss is just a kiss. It's the syllables, man. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Please consider this. There's just 1 syllable missing. But anyways. Laon, second movement and setup. Hang out for next battle. Drive-through games. We haven't had him in a while. Flashpoint, South China Seas, that's the big guy's game. Harold Buchanan, published by GMT. And on the gaming gang, Jeff has 5 videos out. Best Left Buried, Castle and Crusades, Dune Agents of Dune, also Doctor Who, the role-playing game, and Call of Cthulhu. The man famously known as Calandale has 1 video out this week. Bad seller alert, read it again, books. And Bonding with Board Games and RPGs, The Chief has 3 videos out. I should say 2 videos out. Evil Twilight 2000 Season 1, Episode 34, and Evil Twilight 2000 Season 1, Episode 35, The End. The End. Solo RPG. All this on Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. Cue music. another week, another show. I've lost quite a bit of stuff. A lot of the ads in here I've lost. I have to remake them. Please be patient. I hope the Patreon list is going to be good. If not, I have to remake it again. And these are things, unfortunately, that demand a lot of time. It's tedious work. It's not super difficult. It's not difficult. But it just demands a lot of time, you know? But with the new Mac Mini, I should be okay. This video was made on the new Mac Mini. Same camera, same microphone, but I got 2 screens, and Artie was right. I'm editing with 2 screens, and let me tell you, I'm not opening this, opening that, opening that. Everything is open, and I'm just dragging and dropping and recording. So, with that said, everything should be good. And you know what? Thank you again to my supporters. And please like and subscribe this channel. It's a lot of fun. Watch my other channel. Subscribe. It ain't gonna hurt you, for God's sakes. Have a great weekend. I work this weekend, so it's gonna be okay. Have a good time.